Hi, it's Jane, and today we're going to talk about Chapter 1 in A Single Shard by Linda Sue Park. We're doing less than usual. We normally do 3 chapters or something like that. But today, as an exception, we are going to do only 1 chapter, but we have a lot to discuss, okay? After today, we will have 2 chapters, 2 and 3. But for right now, let's talk about chapter 1. So, I wonder if you have this right here, and it says right here in the letters, a small village on the west coast of Korea, mid to late 12th century. Excuse me, but what do you know about ancient, or at least ancient Korea? Or if not that, just what do you know about Korea in general? And even if you don't know anything about Korea, then I will give you a few quick facts, because number 1, I really like geography, and number 2, my parents are actually Korean. So I am Korean American actually, so I can actually speak in Korean. I'm gonna say 2 sentences to you, okay? These don't mean anything, okay? It's just, I'm gonna talk about something random. I'm gonna talk about my favorite food, okay? And so, yeah, I'm only gonna speak 1 sentence actually, and I'm gonna speak about my favorite food. 나의 제일 좋아하는 먹을 거는 된장국이다. And so I am gonna teach you 5 things about Korea, modern and ancient, and then I will talk, okay. So, number 1, Korea is a very big it has a lot of technology. It's really advanced in technology. Of course, other nations are also very advanced. But Korea has 2 major companies, cell phone and electronic companies, Samsung and LG. It is in some places I think it has very fast internet, one of the most fastest internets in the world. And also and number 2, Korea's capital is Seoul, which sort of sounds like Seoul, and I'm not very sure, but I think it's spelled correctly, but the trick is Seoul is Seoul, and Seoul is Seoul. Okay, Seoul. I mean, it might not be spelled correctly. The same, but you get the point. So, next time you pronounce it, you can look at the name and try to figure it out. Okay, and number 3, something about ancient Korea. There was a lot of villages there, and actually this village was actually pretty famous for pottery, and Korea had a lot of pottery. And number 4, let's see. So Korea actually has lots of mountains, and it's really good for hiking, and there is about at least 1 national park. And number 5, this is a little about wars, okay? So Korea was involved in a couple of wars actually. Well, a few wars actually, a lot of wars actually. So there was the Korean War, where the United States fought along with Korea, and then there was the other side, and it lasted 3 years. The name is actually Korean War. So, okay, those are the 5 things. So now you'll know a few things about Korea. 5 things, and I also wanted to now. We will start with chapter 1. So, Crane Man and Tree Ear have a joke, right? Have you hungered well today? Well, it is a joke, but it is a little funny, but it's not that funny because they really are hungering, right? And how did you feel about that? And also, Crane Man and Tree Ear how do you, both of them, how can you describe them? I always ask this, okay, about new characters. And Tree Ear has this rice. And have you ever eaten rice before? If so, it is delicious. But anyway, so Tree Ear is real, and Crane gets really excited because of the rice. And then, so he asks for the story, and it is a tale worth hearing about, right? So this shows that they are very poor, and I feel a little sorry for them, don't you? But anyway, Tree Ear had saw this man with a chige. There was this there was a hole in it, and rice was falling out of it. And Tree Ear, of course, was like, "Tell him quickly!" But then another thought was like, "No, wait until all the rice falls." And then because he's hungry, right? So this makes that Tree Ear is very honorable, don't you? And when I get through this, and I want to ask you some Tree Ear's traits. Actually, I ask you right now, since you've read the whole chapters, what is a list of traits that you can say about Tree Ear, and describe the farmer a little, okay? And what is at least one trait that the farmer has? He actually says it. And Tree Ear, because he actually pointed that out, he got all the rice falling on the road. I mean, mostly rice that was falling wouldn't be very appetizing, but he's hungry and he gets that. So hooray for Tree Ear, right? And so Tree Ear has a story about his name. And do you think that's pretty interesting? And if you have been named after a mushroom, how would you have thought about that? And if you really do look at pictures of the Tree Ear mushroom, it is actually very cool to look at it, okay? But anyway, Crane Man says that work gives man dignity, stealing takes it away. So do you agree with that phrase? I agree with it, but what about you? And he began to think about if he should have called out quickly and that he should have not hesitated. So Tree Ear is thinking about that, right? So about that, do you think, whose side are you on? Do you think that Tree Ear should have waited? Or do you think that Tree Ear should not have waited? And also, Crane Man also says, scholars read the great words of the world, but you and I must learn to read the world itself. I really like that. And I wanted to ask you, if you agree, and do you think that you must learn the great words of the world or to read the world itself? Both are very important. So this is a fair argument, actually. And so, Crane Man's nickname came from his shriveled leg, right? Or at least his calf and foot. And do you feel a little sorry for Crane Man? And so Tree Ear, why do you think that Tree Ear stuck to Crane Man when the life was really bad? And if you have been Tree Ear, I mean, how would you have acted? I mean, Tree Ear, he's an orphan. He's been an orphan as far as he remembers. And Tree Ear is really interested, and Tree Ear is very interested in Min, a very good potter. And did you think that Min was a very good potter? And do you get why Tree Ear was really interested in him? And Min, he made this awesome bowl, right? But then he was like, bah, and he made another one. He was still not interested. He made another one, not interested. The fourth one was the best. It looked like the same to Tree Ear, but there was something, and this shows that Min is very, very good at this art, right? The skill, he knows when a little is very bad. And this village is actually very important because there's a lot of potters there, and emperors, even emperors, want that pottery, right? So this is really cool, right? So Min I wanted to also, Min was so good. I wanted to say a few lines. I want to say 2 sentences. Min did not seem to care about such secrecy. It was as if he were saying, "Go ahead, watch me. No matter, you will not be able to imitate my skill." What do you think about that? And now they are actually on the seashore and they're in the mountains. Awesome, right? If you lived there, how would you feel? But this depends on the person, on the point of view. If you have been poor, it wouldn't have been very good. If you have been rich, it would have been awesome, right? What do you think? And look at both sides. And I also wanted to ask you why, and also I wanted to ask you about the pottery. And pottery, we just sort of always take it for granted maybe, but this time, actually, look at your pottery, your bowls and plates, and think of them as being made by a potter. And also, I wanted to ask you if you thought, if you actually you do some research on Korean history. It's not homework, of course, or anything, but it would be really cool to research Korean history. There's a lot to it, and I hope that you really enjoy learning about Korea. And I wanted to tell you, Korea is an awesome place to visit. There's Seoul, there's towering buildings there. It's awesome to visit. There's also other awesome cities. I think there's a national park or two. There's the beach and there's the mountains. And all in all, it's a great place to visit. I recommend going there. And as always, I'm gonna ask you, what was your favorite part and what is your prediction on what is gonna happen next? Well, I hope that you have a great day, and bye!